Welcome to the Christopher Jimenez Show. Welcome to the show. This is kind of a special episode here between two very special days. Yesterday, of course, was the Boston Marathon and all of the festivities that went on with that, and that was just such an inspirational day. I was glued to my laptop watching the stream. I was watching the elite runners just take off, and it still kind of blows my mind that they run at a pace that's under 5 minutes per mile. I actually, the baby woke up early this morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep, and I knew it wasn't even worth going back to sleep because I'd only have like an hour left until I had to get up with my alarm. So I decided to do about like 15 minutes of yoga and go out there for a run. And after I hit that first mark, I think I did I did the first quarter of a mile in like 4 minutes, almost like 3.5 minutes, and I realized that these elite athletes would have done 3/4 of a mile in that time, and they would have been approaching that first whole entire mile. That's just it just puts things in perspective, how fit these athletes really are, and big congratulations to Rita Jeptu and Meb, and this guy's last name, man, Keflisigi, something like that, Meb Strong. Congratulations to them for winning in their respective heats. Rita for the women, and of course Meb for the men. Rita Jeptu running in a record time. I was a little disappointed for Shalane Flanagan. She's a voice in my head that tells me to keep going, literally in my head, as I use the Nike Plus running app, and when I'm doing like the training runs, towards the end when you got like, I don't know, less than a tenth of a mile, she comes up and says, "This is Shalane Flanagan, encouraging you to keep on." And I was like, "Yeah, Shalane Flanagan, now I'm encouraging you." She ran it in a good time. Rita just broke the record. That's all there is to that one. And she just exploded down that stretch, man. As for Meb, that was super encouraging. The first male winner from the United States since the early 1980s. And I know they were saying on the broadcast that he was the first winner the first American winner of the Boston Marathon since the 1980s. And a few people on Twitter got on there and decided that they would correct them and say that, that actually there was another winner since, and there was this female, and yes. But I think I understand what the announcers meant when they said that. They meant the first male winner, American winner of the Boston Marathon since the 1980s. It doesn't matter. It's still impressive. It's still been a long time since the United States has been represented, and the Star Spangled Banner has been played at the end of the Boston Marathon, and it's it's fun that it happened this year, the year after the tragic bombings, and it's a healing moment, and it's a moment where we can be Boston strong, or just running strong. I don't know about Meb strong. That was a little bit of a it was fun, but it was a little bit. It came off a little bit self-centered. I know that he's not self-centered guy. Everybody says that he is. He's the sweetest guy, but and you know what? On the flip side, I could say I run Chris strong, because that's me within myself, and when you're running, it's really you're fighting against your own self, against the things that are in your mind, the things that are in your heart, the things that are against your past race times, and you trying to beat yourself. So I can see that in that light. But of course, it could come off, it's a little bit arrogant to other people. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. Just you can tweet me up at CJMNZ8 if you have a different opinion there. switching gears, the very next day, which is today, registration opens up for the Goofy Challenge and a half. That is the run at the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend coming up here next January. Of course, it's no coincidence that registration for this event opens up the day after the Boston Marathon. I mean, this is just wow. Of course, the most prestigious U.S. road race, and then the most expensive U.S. road race right after each other. Just kidding, but still, it's a great time. We went to we were actually signed up for the Goofy Challenge and a half for last year, but that got postponed. We had to defer that race because my daughter was born like the day before that race was run. But that was wonderful. That was a wonderful experience, and now we are scheduled, since we deferred, to run it this year. And maybe that's a blessing in disguise, because images have been circulating about the medals this year and how it's a 10th anniversary. So it seems like we're in for a special medal this year. So I'm super excited for that. A lot of people are super excited for that. I expect the Goofy Challenge and a half, or Goofy Challenge race and a half, something like that. You can look it up. It's online. I didn't bother to look it up. I apologize. That was very unprofessional of me. So you look it up yourself, figure it out. But I expect it to sell out real quick, as it's combination special year right after the Boston Marathon. Everybody's pumped, everybody's hyped up and excited. So yeah, I mean, I suggest you get on that. If you are planning to run that, register as soon as you can. And of course, if you're registering for it, I suggest you follow my wife on Twitter, Storybook Erin, or storybooklife.us is where she blogs, because she'll be documenting our race preparation, our training, our nutrition, our everything having to do with the Goofy Challenge. She'll be documenting there, and probably from the perspective of a mother runner, as we are now parents. So we're going to try to figure out how to get those long runs in while taking care of little babies. So I believe that will be a very interesting thing to follow if you're into that sort of thing. Again, follow my wife at Storybook Erin. That's Storybook ERIN. Well, I'm keeping it short today, only about 8 minutes or so, just a little bit long for me. I apologize for that, but this was a special day in honor of the Boston Marathon and, of course, the Goofy Challenge. Thank you guys so much for listening to me.
Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at CJMNZ8. Thank you so much.